Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Morning, Jocelyn.
Hi.
I'm the drinker, Elaine. I love that Zoom. What kind of Zoomer are you? That was pretty funny. But I was like, I have so many of those. I've been the walker. We have the cameos from the family.
Well, why would you be just one if you can be all of them?
Yeah, exactly. Good morning. Good morning, Paula. Hello, Kris.
Hey, I made it. Had a little technology problems.
Oh, well, you're only 1 minute. Just getting started. See the light behind Mark's head.
Yeah, Mark, that's kind of a dramatic look.
The fluorescent light. Mark Johnson's Lake is here. Good morning, Kris.
Hey.
There, that's better. Anything exciting before we wait 5 after that anyone wants to share?
South Carolina, open for business.
What's that?
Whether you should be or not is another question, but we are open for business. Everything.
Wow.
Gyms, restaurants, bars, you name it, we're open.
Wow.
Really? Okay, so we're going to see a spike in South Carolina in about 2 weeks. Yeah, awesome. Good to know.
I'm leaving to go back to New York in about 2 weeks, I think.
Oh, dear.
2 weeks.
Oh, gosh.
We've opened up a lot here in Southern Oregon, but I guess my family's decided we'll wait 2 weeks before we consider opening up.
Just going to ease into it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
That seems prudent.
Such conflicting information everywhere.
Yeah.
Really bugs the shit out of me.
I think I'm just going to wear a mask for the next year when I go outside and go to public places. It's just part of my life now. I wear one at work, so I may as well wear one everywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do for work, Jocelyn?
I work in a hospital.
Oh, okay.
I'm a physical therapist.
Okay.
And even in the hospital, you know, we go by one protocol, and then things will change as they learn more. So we'll get another protocol.
Yep.
So I like my mask. I'm used to it.
So, Mark, I have really enjoyed your We Shall Return series. The guessing game and the constancy of it and the list of swims. It's been a lot of, well, I won't say it's been fun, but it's been a good series.
I'm almost out of pictures.
Just start making them up. We'll never know.
That is true. I mean, I've snagged pictures. A lot of these are snagged, but they're things I've been involved in. You know.
Yeah.
Today's is a repeat, but nobody really knows where it is.
I haven't been to Facebook yet this morning. All right, 1 minute, and then we'll do for our topic for the breakout today. I was thinking we'll think the most the scariest thing that you've experienced while swimming.
Oh, wow.
But let's see. I think most of you have been here before, except maybe Paula. So just my quick intro. I'm Shannon Keegan, and I have a little business called Intrepid Water where we supporting and encouraging marathon swimmers and people locally more. It's more like people just to get in the water. I'd love to help people push their limits, but not everybody wants to. And that's okay. It's totally okay. But let's see. This month, if you do my email list, I'm doing a drawing for another mug. I have just a couple left. And yeah, And I sell swim secure tow floats. So if you are out in the open water, be sure you have a tow float, whatever kind you have, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you stay safe and that people can see you. We'll do our breakout today. Talk about whatever you want, or you can start with something that's the scariest experience you've had swimming. And we'll come back at 22 and talk to Kris. See you
Sounds
in
good.
minutes. Good scary stories.
Scary memories.
Yeah.
I deliberately did scary hair today. Swimmer hair. Scary swimmer hair.
Yep, I love it.
That's why I have a hat on.
Oh no.
I can't get a haircut. It's terrible.
I'm sure you're fine.
I am.
Just slap a swim cap on.
All right, everyone's coming back in 1 second, literally.
Hi, Alyssa.
Hey, Kitty.
Yeah, I have a friend. Hey, Otto, you want to be on the TV?
Oh, kitty.
Right.
And doggy.
Hey, Otto. All right.
Animal cameos. Ready, set, go. All right, to Kris this morning. Tell us about yourself, Kris.
Well, I think I have a similar story of, other people that I've heard that I started swimming when somebody needed a fourth person for a relay. I was hanging out at a meet, my brother was swimming in, and I was able to swim the length of the pool for a 4x25 relay when I was 7 years old. And, it's kind of the rest is history there. That's all I've done. I really can't see very well out of my left eye, so my hand, the ball and hand-eye coordination, I just never was my deal. And so I swam all through high school. It's the only sport I ever did. And then I swam at college. I swam at Nebraska here, joined a program that was just horrible. And my freshman year, we were 0-11, and then my junior year, we won conference. We got a new coach when I was a sophomore. Swam through college. I wasn't any good. I was just, I'd call it second or third string swimmer, and but had a blast. Great friends. All the guys on my team are still my best friends. And I was a sprinter. And so the story goes, a couple years out of college, I kept swimming a little bit, but I was fishing with one of my friends, and the Omaha Marathon was that day, and he said, I think I'm going to run in that next year. And I said, anybody can run a marathon. Why don't you swim the English Channel? And then we just went on about our normal conversation. And a couple of days later, he calls me up and said, man, I want to do that. And sure as hell, he started making some phone calls, landlines, no internet, no nothing. This is 1986. So he and I, just without any help, except for maybe one other person, Tom Hetzel, who had done the channel 8 times, had written a book back then, and that's the only source of information that we had, was this one book and this couple phone calls with this guy. And so he did. He went over, swam the channel in 1986 in a hell of a day. He had a super fast tide, really slack. Did it in 9:17, which was incredible. And so, of course, then I had to do it. And we had our first child that year, so I couldn't do it that year. So next year, 1988, I did the channel, and it was just incredible. And, it's, like I said, there was no knowledge. We didn't know what the heck we were doing. All our arrangements were made by snail mail. It's just incredible. So the times have changed a lot, and it's really been coming up. It's been what, 30 plus years. But I'm still swimming and I'm still having a blast. So that's how I started.
Yeah, that's great. How did you get to that first channel in the 80s? What kind of, just out of curiosity?
What, pardon me?
How did you train for your first channel?
I spent a lot of time in the pool, and on the weekend, the lake that Molly trains in and I train in a little bit, Branstoke Lake out here in Lincoln, I did a 4 or 5 every weekend in the summer. And it's 80 some degrees. And then when we went over to England, me and my friend, I was his trainer, he was my trainer. And we always say we. And I just went over there and I did a 1 hour, a 2 hour, a 3, a 4, or a 3, a 2, and a 1. And I went on the first day of the tide. So a lot of pool swimming, but a lot of lake swimming.
Yeah, cool. Where's your favorite place to swim?
New York City. Every answer from now on is going to be New York City. And here's the crazy thing. Even when I was over there in Dover, there was another guy over there, and he says to me, geez, you ought to swim around Manhattan. And I'm like, I've never been to New York City. I've never heard of Manhattan. I'm here to swim the channel. I don't want to think about anything else. And so I swam the channel on August 5th, and we got back to the US on August 10th. And on August 27th, I swam around New York.
Love
Just
it.
incredible. I mean, I had no reservations, no connections. I probably made, 15 phone calls, just find somebody that knew about the Manhattan, and I got in.
Wow.
And the rest is history there. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Gary Antonick. I about 10 years after that, I sent him a letter and I said, you changed my life. Because I just love New York, the swimming around New York.
Why do you swim marathons?
I just love it. I was talking to my wife last night and I said, well, I think one of the reasons I swim it is so she can travel to New York City. And as I said before, it's an excuse to travel, get around the world, get around the country. Although my trips have been pretty much limited to New York City. But I finally caved in and gave a go at the Catalina Channel 4 or 5 years ago. 4 years ago, 2016. So.
What is it about New York that you like swimming there so much?
It's New York.
No, but I want to hear from Kris.
It's a challenge. Every year is different. The weather is different. The people are different. The currents are different. You're never going to get the same swim. So to me, it's a different swim 23 times.
Yeah, I believe that.
I mean, Catalina, I'm sure, is different every time. The channel is different every time, but there's a lot more things to be different around New York.
Yeah. How do you describe the feeling of completing a marathon swim?
For me, it's just kind of, okay, got that. I've never, jumped up and down and that sort of thing at the end of a swim. It's just, here's the next question. What am I, a processor, an outcome person? I'm really a process person. I plan for these things. I've done it so many times. I have a plan and I just execute the plan, and then I get the outcome that I, hope for and plan for.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my deals is it's the commitment to the commitment. Anybody can commit to something, but you need to commit to your commitment. And that's what I think has really helped me be successful.
Yeah. So since we know that, the answer to the question of what your favorite event is, which year is the most memorable that you've done in New York?
I would say I have a couple. The first year, because I was clueless. I mean, I really was. I had no idea anything about it at all. You know, and I just jumped in and swam and just had a great experience. And then I went back the next year and learned that, you know, you can't take this swim for granted. You know, I thought, oh, I've done the Channel, I've done New York, and I don't think I trained right. And so then I was challenged to do it a third time to, you know, feel better about it and prepare. So the first time, and then after that, then I wanted to do 3 things. I wanted to win the race, I wanted to set the record, and I wanted to be the first person to swim the other direction. And that's what I did. It was a lot of fun, just a lot of fun, a lot of hard work.
Yeah. That's awesome. Let's see.
I have to comment on Chris's comment to be committed to his commitment. Just so you know, he is at the Y before it even opens at 5 in the morning. He's in the water before 5 every single day. It's crazy.
I wish I was right now. But yeah, I mean, the time of day that I work out has changed a lot. I mean, you know, way back in the day when we had infants and stuff, I swam at 5 o'clock and squeezed in a little swim over the lunch hour. But now that our kids are grown and stuff, I can get it done in the early morning, and just a good time for me. So.
Is there a swim that you're most proud of?
Oh, you know, I've thought a lot about this question, and this is going to be a crazy answer. One of my most proud swims is the training swim I did. I wanted to do 15 hours. I was training for that, swimming around Manhattan, the clockwise direction, after I didn't make it my first time. And about 10 hours into this deal, I popped out of the water into the boat, and my coach was like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I can't do it." And I sat on that boat and absolutely bawled. You know, I was like, I don't know, 35 years old. I sat there and just bawled for, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes. And I got back in and I finished the 15 hours. And it's just, for me, that was, I don't know, it was one of my favorite days, even though I hated it and it sucked. But I did it, and then I knew I could go and do this swim. So, although I wasn't going to be able to get out and take a break for this other swim, but that was actually one of my proudest days.
Do you know what it was that made you get out? or how you got back in?
You know, I wanted it really bad, and then, I don't know, I just had one of those moments that was like my lowest moment.
Yeah.
And then I got through it, and, you know, it was one of those deals like you say, just get to the next feed. I got back in, I said, just get to the next hour. And then, so I was at the lake for 15 hours, but I only swam for like 14:40. So anyways.
That's great. You had a coach that was patient to wait for you to.
Yeah. Anyways. So I haven't had a day like that in a while.
How do you adapt to changing situations?
I pretty much anymore just go with the flow. You can't control what you can't control, so you just have to learn to deal with it. I do a lot of yelling and swearing underwater that nobody hears or knows of. When I come for a feed, I'll have a smile on my face, but I have my moments. I just don't share them. Be nice to my crew.
That's good advice. How do you handle hard situations?
Kind of the same way. That's a tough one to answer. I really just try to, say to myself, it is what it is. You decide to move on and deal with it because you can't control it. So that's what I do. Just keep swimming. On to the next feed. Or on to the next bridge in New York.
Right, right.
That's the deal.
What's your favorite bridge?
Oh, I have a love-hate relationship with the George Washington Bridge. It's so close, but yet so far. If anybody's done that in New York Swim, the first 19 bridges most of them are just bang, bang, bang. And then you turn the corner in the Hudson, and my advice to anybody is take one look and then don't look again until you get there. Because it's a long time.
We have a swim like that in Portland.
Yeah.
You get through.
It's kind of like, really, at the end of any swim, if end of Catalina, they say, don't look at that shoreline because it's a lot further away. Take one look and forget about it.
Yep, keep your head down. What's the worst part for you about, I guess, what are the restrictions in Nebraska? What's the worst part for you about this current situation, pandemic?
Just A, my routine is screwed up, and B, I'm not swimming with my friends. It's just, everything's messed up. But I've learned to adapt. This is one of those tough deals. When it first started, I'm looking at I'm a real anal person on keeping track of yards and things. I haven't had 2 weeks off in a row in 6 years. I haven't had a month off since 2002. I'm just going with the flow now. I don't have a choice.
Yeah, yep. Maybe that's something that means to help you.
Yeah.
What motivates you to keep going?
I love working out and I like to eat. I'm a terrible diet person. I don't pay attention to anything. So it's an excuse to eat, and it's an excuse to get to the next thing. My wife doesn't like me at home in the morning, Molly, so that's another reason I'm up at clock out of there. I'm kind of bugging her right now because I'm home every morning. I got to give a hats off to her. She's put up with this stuff for 30 some years and just been a great supporter. So
it's wonderful. What advice would you give to a new marathon or aspiring marathon swimmer?
Not uncommon advice to know somebody, talk to them. I guarantee you my success on the English Channel was being with somebody on their crew and actually seeing the whole thing from above the water. I did that on the Catalina Channel too. I crewed for a friend the year before my swim, which was really a great experience because that's such a different swim, having to ride the boat over there. And on that trip, when I did it, my coach never saw a stroke because she got seasick. Oh. Told her, you got to take these seasick pills and you got to, but they don't always work. So, and I had another friend who started the swim, and he had gotten seasick on the way over. So just talk to people and don't be afraid to ask questions, because we're all willing to share because we all want everybody to be successful in things they want to do.
Absolutely.
So
good advice. Let's see. How about what's a little known fact about you?
Not a lot of little known facts about me, but I don't know. I don't really have one. I'm kind of a runner too. I started gaining weight so I could not get so cold in some of these swims. And after a while, kind of saw a picture of myself, thought, well, you look a little heavy. So I started running. And I've run 4 Boston marathons, and then I wanted to run a sub 3-hour marathon, and I did that when I was 53, which was 7 years ago. So now I just swim. But I got that out of my system. I mean, it's another, the marathon stuff, long distance, a lot of time, it's in my blood. So, but that running's hard. It's too hard for the body. Swimming's so much better.
I agree.
So, I tell people, you can't just go out your front door and swim. You have to go somewhere and change clothes and all that. Just, it adds another hour to what you're going to do. So it's really a commitment.
Yeah. Yep. How about, what's your superpower?
Well, it's that commitment to the commitment. I mean, I get a little, at the end of my training, I'm a little OCD. So obsessed with this. I have this 14-week plan that I do every time I do one of these deals, and every morning I update this spreadsheet, and it's just like, you start worrying about 2,000 yards and whether or not it really matters, and it matters more up here than it does in that body, and that's, I don't know, good and bad.
Yeah, that's amazing though, that commitment. I just love it. How about future, everyone else start thinking of questions for Kris because we have extra time. But Kris, tell me a future guest for Marathon Swim Stories.
Oh, you need to talk to Courtney Polk.
Okay. How do I spell the last name?
P-O-L-K.
P-A-U-L-K. I was on her crew for a double Catalina. It took 33 hours. Just incredible.
Anyone else?
Oh, you could talk to Marsha. She's a great person to talk to. She has immense knowledge on open water swimming.
Marsha who?
Cleveland.
Cleveland, okay. She
was supposed to be inducted into the Marathon Swimming Hall of Fame earlier this month, but that's been postponed. She has a book out called Dover Solo.
Always on my nightstand.
There you go.
Very well. Awesome. I appreciate the recommendations. Any questions for Kris this morning?
Kris, I'm curious, how have you seen,
you see New York City there in the back?
How have you seen the sport change over the years?
Oh, there's so much more knowledge. Nutrition is so much better. It's incredible. When I did the channel, I fed every hour. Who does that anymore?
What did you feed on?
I drank something called, Exceed, E-X-C-E-E-D. And I had that every hour, and I had Snicker bars. And now I feed on Endurox and Goose. Pretty limited. Don't have a lot of variety. I mean, I just go with what works until they don't make it anymore.
Yeah, that was a good question. Any other questions for Kris this morning? What was your date for New York this year?
August 2nd.
Which with the 4 swims a year, which one do you like the best? Or have you tried them all, or you pick? Sorry.
What do you mean?
Well, don't they do 4 different dates now?
This year they were doing all just small group swims.
Oh, okay.
So I usually try and pick one early August because my wife's really busy in July. I don't like June. It's a little too cool, and I like to have more open water swimming done before that time. So early August is my favorite. That way I have a little bit of my summer left to enjoy.
Kris, do you have any other non-New York swims on your bucket list that you want to go for?
Well, I'm thinking about Tampa Bay, Lake Tahoe. I'd like to do Gibraltar. And one of these days, I'd like to do SCAR. SCAR's a problem because I'm a CPA and just
Rough time of year.
timing of it's not great. So,
Give everybody extensions.
yeah, I know. This year would have been the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Government gave to everybody. Well, those are a few on my list.
Do you how do
Do
you
the
feel?
channel again, actually.
Oh, nice.
This channel again. Maybe when I retire.
I'd crew for you.
I was gonna say, let me know if you come out to Tahoe. I'll pop down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did that for me, and you turned up. You were 8 months pregnant, and I didn't know. And she's like, "I'm here." Oh boy, we're gonna put you on a boat overnight. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
What was I gonna say? How do you feel like your marathon swimming? Do you feel like it's rubbed off on your kids at all? Are they endurance athletes?
My youngest son is quite the runner. So yeah, I think it's influenced him a lot. My older son, not so much. He was a soccer player, but I got to brag a little bit. My youngest son just ran the Olympic trials
Cool.
marathon.
Congratulations.
So yeah, he kind of bonked, but he gave it his all. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
So he's like in Portland. It's a great running community out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the commitment thing, they understand it and they get it. And
Yeah. Like it.
I hope it did. They see the hard work.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions for Kris? Thank you for being willing to talk to us.
Oh, love it. Love talking about it. Anytime.
Yeah. Thursday we're
About New York, just reach out. I'm happy to help. Great
awesome.
swim. It's a great swim.
I want to do it now after hearing Janine was talking a lot about swimming in Hudson. Anyway, hearing more and more people talk about
Yeah,
it.
I mean, back in the day, it was 50 people and it was a madhouse. But there was no kayaks. I like the smaller groups. They have last couple of years before this year, they had 4 groups of 15, which is a nice size group.
Yeah. Very cool.
And you don't
Last
need
year I did
shots
it
anymore.
with one other guy, and that was a lot of fun. So
What was that? What was that?
last year there was one other guy. He and I go way back, and we both swam on the same day. It was a lot of fun too. So per se.
They used to say to swim the Manhattan Island Marathon swim, you had to have shots years ago.
The first time I did it, I did do the shot thing.
Yeah.
The waters have really gotten better.
I love it. Yeah.
The whole city has gotten cleaned up. The water, way better. Way better.
Love
I
that.
was in the Spite and Dival swim a couple years ago. I was so sorry to see it was canceled, but it was, first off, what you were saying about the Washington Bridge, and I was only in a 10K, but I kept saying, oh my God, how come that's not getting any closer? And yet I'm going with the current. So, oh yeah, sorry. And so I was going with the current, and I was having a much shorter swim than my normal 10K, but it was still like, oh my God, still so far away. But I loved the Hudson. I loved swimming there. I wanted, eventually I want to do one of the 8 bridges stages. I'm much more of a beginner in marathon swimming than you are, but it was lovely listening to what you were saying, and learning a lot about trying to as you say, go with the flow. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Thursday, we're talking with Colleen Blair, so we're going international. So hopefully join us on Thursday. And other than that.
Queen of Cold.
What's that, Mark?
The Queen of Cold.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Have a great day. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, everybody. Good to see
Thank
you.
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 Thanks
Have
for
a
having me.
great day.